Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. What's the point of trading and how do you get there? Those are two pretty good primary questions, I think. I've got something like 220 videos out there, and they all are trying to help you as, I'm kind of focusing on the 21 to 34-year-old age group. That's a really good age group that has the understanding that it's going to take a little bit of time in order to get going with this stuff. But you're in that 4 to 5 figure, low 5-figure account size, and the goal is to get to that 6 figures so that you can really start making some money. So the point of trading is relatively obvious. It's to make a lot of money. But a lot of money is relative to your particular situation. An extra $15,000 a year may be life-altering if you're on Social Security. The median, or I don't know what the median is, but I think the average Social Security payment today is like, $1,400. Now, where I live, you can't even hardly rent an apartment for $1,400. So it's important that when you're young, you look forward to when you're going to be in a situation where you're not working anymore and generating that nice income, and say, I'm living on XYZ standard, and so therefore with Social Security or whatever retirement type plan that you have and my savings, I'll be doing okay. Well, I'm doing this video right now in early August of 2022, and a lot of the folks that are in this baby boomer generation that are retired right now, and I'm part of that, are rudely awakened to the fact that some of all the plans that were made 15 years ago in order to be comfortable in retirement, that's not the case today. And those that didn't do any planning at all are losing their houses, getting thrown out of their apartments. It's a very sad thing. Folks who just blindly invested in the stock market without consulting some sort of financial planner or broker are finding themselves down, probably an average of around 20% right now overall on the S&P and NASDAQ. The world is in a lot of turmoil. And yes, you plan on that turmoil happening. But the problem as you move into retirement is that if that turmoil occurs there and it takes your IRA or whatever down 20%, you're going to have to make 33% of that IRA back just to get back to where you were. And by that time, inflation has already crept up and eaten away another 6 or 8% by the time the recession is over and whatever's happening. And so the point of trading currencies is not to make a lot of money. Doesn't matter where you are, but the point of trading is to provide yourself an increase in your wealth so that when you get too old or to the point where you're having job discrimination, that you've got the wealth behind you, what we call over here, fuck you money, to be very blunt about it, and that you have the wherewithal to survive those tough times when either the markets crash all around you or the inflation rate goes up. I mean, we're seeing both things happen right now. You have to put a new roof on your house. Now, I just spent $15,000 last year to put a new metal roof on my 1775 antique cape here where I live in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, in one of the older settlements of the area. There are unexpected things that come up that your little spreadsheet that you write 15 years before are not going to account for. So that getting involved in the currency markets now, making your mistakes and losing a little bit of money, now's the time to do that in that 21 to 34-year-old age group so that you learn and hone your skills so that you can build your way up to have a substantial cushion when you are ready to retire, if that's ever going to be possible for you to do. For those of you in the older age group, I think you're more mature in your view of what your expectation is and the time you have to achieve that expectation. You're probably, if you're 50 or 60 years old, you're probably not looking at starting out in a real estate investment career or flipping houses or undergoing a new career as a welder or whatever. You've had a career. You reach the peak of your earnings potential in your mid-40s. You're also at your peak of expenses with the kids going to college or the big house or, 2 cars and all the fancy toys you have, snowmobiles and all that crap. If you happen to be fortunate enough to have the money in order to do all that stuff. If you're 46 and you're making, household income of $45,000 or $50,000 a year, and you're still trying to have 2 cars and all the other stuff, you're in negative land. Finance is a very tricky thing. And we don't want you to only save, because if all you do is save, then when you get to my age, that encumbers your ability to then spend. I'm 73 years old. What the hell am I going to do in saving? I don't need to save. I've either got the money or I don't. I'm fortunate that I do. That could change. I mean, all my IRA holdings and stuff could be totally wiped out, although I've gone completely cash and all that stuff. I just don't trust the stock markets. I've gotten out of real estate. I got out probably the sale of my last building a couple of years early. But that's okay. I got the year forwards price, and so I don't regret any of that. I've been doing financial planning for my whole life. I've been involved in studying finance since the 1980s when I started studying stocks and got involved in options trading and all that other stuff. I was introduced to currencies in 2007. I did them as an academic exercise for a lot of years because I didn't even open a real trading account. I had simulated accounts, but I didn't open a real trading account until 2012. And I did it with a couple of mini accounts. Put that account to the wood. Well, I'll refund that. It didn't take me more than a couple of months, and that was gone. Maybe I need more study. Those are the issues you don't want to be solving when you're in your 60s. Those are issues that you want to be solving when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s. Because even though when you get to your 50s and 60s, you're going to be more realistic about your approach as to what the expectation is, and you're going to be able to learn this stuff far quicker than somebody in the 21 to 34-year-old age group, because it means more. There's significant need for the 50 or 60-year-old to understand the currency markets, whereas the 21 to 34-year-old, you're just screwing around, and currency trading is part of what you're doing, and you're trying to make a lot of money for a lot of money is undefined. What it's going to be used for is undefined. How you're going to really make that account grow when you finally get to a high 5-figure account or a low 6-figure account. How are you going to really maximize that to really take benefit of not only the size of the account that you have, but the leverage and liquidity of the markets that we're involved in. I don't know that you're in a position where you're really going to sit down and think through all that stuff. If you take my course, you will, because this is the stuff that I talk about, not just the magic Bollinger Band or the friggin' Fibonacci spiral of death. I don't teach any of that stuff. I don't teach what a PIP is, how to size your bank, any of that beginner level stuff. That's on you. You learn that. I give you references in my first course, Foundations, as to what you need to know as a basis of information, what a PIP is, how to contact a broker, all that other stuff. I give you maybe 10 or 20 pages of preliminary reference stuff about that with some caveats and warnings, and a list of books and other things or references for you to read so that you can learn all that basic stuff, because you're not going to pay me thousands of dollars in order to teach you what a pip is. I think that's stupid, and anybody that's out there charging you to do that when you can learn that crap for free on the internet or a book is crazy. The problem with the internet and the books and stuff is that there's so much information out there. The question becomes, what do I need to learn? What do I need to learn in order to get started? That's what I solve as an educator, is this is the small stuff that you need to learn. How to open a brokerage account, how to get a live trade going, and get in and trade live after 3 weeks or 3 months or however long it takes you to get through not the beginner level training, but the proof of certain strategic methodologies of trading, why they work and why they don't work, how you can interact with them based on your psychology, your financial background, your financial needs, how much money you're going to be able to get your hands on in 3 months or 6 months when you open your larger account and you start trading. Those are the things that I try to cover, because I'm trying to provide for you a lifelong pursuit. If you're in your 50s or 60s, then instead of taking, for example, 3 months to go through that foundations course, you should be able to do it fairly quickly, even if you're relatively new to currency trading, because of your background. You've got 40 years of work or 35 years of a career that you've gone through, and that's taken you discipline. You understand the value of hard work. You understand how to seek out important pieces of information and focus on those and not the clutter and the noise behind it, so that you can achieve the goal that you set out for yourself. What's the point of trading currencies as a 50-year-old? It's similar to what it would be for a 21 to 34-year-old, but it differs in the magnitude and in the when that you execute certain things. If you don't understand that, and you're 50 years old and you're trying to learn how to trade, when all these guys are addressing only the younger group with fantasies of taking a $1,000 account to $10,000, and they all are chewing this stuff up and paying thousands of dollars for courses and just hanging on every word that these guys are talking about, you're not going to be successful at learning in that environment at all. And if you're a 21 to 34-year-old and you're in that group of people that are ankle biting at these gurus and stuff, and you think that you're learning how to trade and you're using signal services or robots or Fibonacci, the music will stop someday and it'll all be gone. And then you'll be, oh, well, that didn't work out. I'll go trade Bitcoin. Oh, there's a good idea. Oh, I'll get into trading old tires. I'll get into do that. And you'll be switching from one thing to the other. And one day you're going to wake up and you're 40 years old. You will have wasted all that time and all that money because you never got focused on what you want to do. If you're going to do something, be sure you understand what the point is. And the point of currency trading, yes, is to make a lot of money. A lot of money is relative. And why you want to make the money and what you're going to do with it when you get it are critical issues that you need to consider, whether you're 22 years old or you're 52 years old, because that will dictate the way that you conduct yourself over the boards in live, real-time trading. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.